Assalamu alaikum ورحمة الله وبركاته. كل عام وحضراتكم بخير. Today we are going to talk about miracles of the prophets. معجزات الأنبياء. انتظرونا. We're back. Today, guys, we're gonna talk about miracles of the prophets. Okay. So, what do we mean by miracle? A miracle is an extraordinary or amazing thing that God gives His messengers to make the disbelievers believe and to support His prophets, of course. Today, we're gonna look at some miracles given to God's prophets. The first miracle was given to Adam. The first one for Adam is giving Adam knowledge. God says, "Oh Adam, tell them their names." And when he told the angels their names, he said, "Did I not tell you that I know the secrets of the heavens and the earth, and that I know what you reveal and what you conceal?" Second, one for Adam, creating Eve or Hawa from Adam. God created Eve from Adam while he was asleep in order not to feel pain of pregnancy or something. Of course, he was not pregnant, but she came from one of his reps, in his chest straps. 3. Giving Adam superiority over other creatures. You can see all or everything around us. So human beings control other creatures. They're more intelligent and they have superiority over them. This was given to Adam since creation. The miracle of Salih. Of course Allah the Almighty sent Prophet Salih to his people to call them to worship Allah the Almighty alone and not to associate any partners with Him. They asked him to bring them proof of what he was saying. So Allah or God the Almighty supported him with the miracle of the she-camel. Salih's people were great at carving homes in the rock, so God made a unique she-camel emerge from or between the mountain rocks. Some of them believed him, but the majority of them disbelieved and intended to kill the she-camel, and they did. Prophet Salih warned them and said, "O my people, worship Allah. You have no deity other than Him. There has come to you clear evidence from your Lord. This is the she-camel of Allah, sent to you as a sign. So leave her to eat within Allah's land, and do not touch her with harm, lest there seize you painful punishment." The miracle of Abraham. Abraham rejected the practices of his people. They worshipped idols that could neither harm nor benefit them. One day, he destroyed the idols without anyone seeing him. When his people came to know that it was Abraham who had done that, they prepared a huge fire for him and threw him into it. However, God ordered the fire to be cool, and the fire did not burn Abraham and did not affect him at all, as Allah the Almighty ordered it not to burn him. Allah the Almighty says in His book in Quran, what means? They said, "Burn him and support your God. If you're to act," Allah said, "O fire, be coolness and safety upon Abraham." And they intended for him harm, but we made them the greatest losers. The miracle of Moses. Allah the Almighty says what means, and what is that in your right hand, O Moses? He said, it's my staff. I lean upon it, and I bring down leaves for my sheep, and I have therein other uses. Allah said, throw it down, O Moses. So he threw it down, and thereupon it was a snake, moving swiftly. The staff was one of the miracles given to Prophet Moses. By that staff, he defeated the magicians of Pharaoh. He extracted water from rock and turned the sea into land by dividing the water into two huge mountains for his people to escape from the Pharaoh. By the permission of Allah, of course, the Almighty, so that he would save the believers and punish the disbelievers. The miracles of Jesus Christ. The miracle of Prophet Jesus Christ was that he cured the blind and the leper and gave life to the dead by the permission of Allah, the Almighty. He would design the form of a bird from clay in front of the people, breathe into it, and it became a bird, of course by God's will. And to tell them what they eat and what they store in their houses by the permission of Allah the Almighty. Allah the Almighty says what means, and make him a messenger to the children of Israel, who will say, indeed, have come to you with a sign from your Lord, and that I designed for you from clay, that which is like the form of a bird, then I breathe into it, and it becomes a bird by permission of Allah. And I cure the blind and the leper, and I give life to the dead by permission of Allah. And I inform you of what you eat and what you store in your houses. Indeed, in that is a sign of you, or for you, if you are believers. Another miracle of Prophet Jesus Christ was a table that was sent down from heaven with food enough for everyone as a sign and a miracle for the disbelievers. So Allah the Almighty sent down the table so that it would be a miracle for them. Allah the Almighty says what means, indeed, I'll send it down to you, but whoever disbelieves afterwards from among you, then indeed I'll punish him with a punishment by which I haven't punished anyone among the world. Now it's the turn of Muhammad, peace be upon him. The first miracle is Quran. The greatest miracle of Prophet Muhammad is the Holy Quran. The miracle of the Holy Quran can be proven from many perspectives, such as the historical precision, its linguistic perfection, and the many prophecies it accurately foretold. Quran presents a challenge to mankind to produce even an ayah like it. 2. The splitting of the moon. In Sahih al-Bukhari, it's mentioned that when the disbelievers challenged the Prophet to do a miracle, he looked at the moon and pointed towards it and asked it, by the will of Allah, to split into two halves immediately. And it did. There is an ayah, اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. This ayah in Quran proves that the moon has already split. After some time of staying in that state of splitting, it eventually converged back to its original shape. NASA and astronauts showed several pictures of the moon with a split around its equator and proved that it was once split and converged back to its original shape. Although the disbelievers at that time saw this event take place or took place in front of them, they disbelieved and called the prophet a magician. 3. The tree that cried. It was mentioned in Sahih al-Bukhari that the prophet used to stand by a stem of a date palm tree while delivering a sermon. When the pulpit was placed for him, we heard that stem crying like a pregnant she-camel till the prophet, peace be upon him, got down from the pulpit and placed his hand and embraced it. The wedding dinner. Number 4, the wedding dinner. It's mentioned in Sunan Nisa'i that when the prophet, peace be upon him, was marrying Zainab bin Jahsh, may Allah be pleased with her, Anas bin Malik's mother, Sulaim, made them some kind of food, hais, a mixture of pure Medina dates. Only enough for the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his wife. When the Prophet received the dish from Anas bin Malik, he told him to invite so many companions that the narration mentioned about 300 companions were invited that day. He fed them all, or he fed all of his guests from that food until they were all full. Once they were done, the Prophet, peace be upon him, told Anas bin Malik to take the dish away. As he took the dish away, he couldn't tell whether the dish was the same when he delivered it or increased in its capacity. Water that flowed from his hands. Number 5. On the day of Hudaybiyah treaty, the people became very thirsty. After completing the ablution, the people had rushed towards the Prophet, peace be upon him. He asked what was the matter with them. They replied that they had no water for ablutions or drinking except a small pot of water, which clearly wasn't enough for them all. So he then placed his hand into the pot, and water started to flow from his fingers like a spring. Everyone drank and performed ablution that day. I asked Jabir, "How many were you?" He replied, "Even if we had been 100,000, it would have been sufficient and enough for us all, but we were 1,500. Sahih al-Bukhari. Isra and Mi'raj. This miracle refers to the night journey Muhammad, peace be upon him, made with angel Gabriel. He went from Mecca to Al-Aqsa Mosque in Palestine. He ascended up to the heavens to have a meeting with Allah. By the time he returned to Mecca, it was still night time and his bed was still warm. Time and place are unquestionable here. We are dealing with God's abilities and miracles to his prophets. Anyway, I have finished now. I hope I've given you something, to remind you of the miracles. Anyway, if you like my video, please subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.